Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the beginning of this cross-stitching video. In this video, I am going to be starting my Flossmas but not daily posted Flossmas videos. And so for the month of December, I'm going to be working on one project every day until it's finished, which is Autumn Harmony, artwork by Maxine Gadd, charted by Maxine Gadd. And this is on 18 count, 2/1 full cross. And starting off on December 1st, where am I at? I currently have 48 out of 100 colors finished, which I am very excited about. And there are 8,240 stitches left. So I am really hoping that she will be finished within like the next 2 weeks. And this is all that's left. This little corner is all that's left. And then also every day I am going to be working from this Advent calendar. So in each of these boxes is a cross-stitching project and a yarn, and I will be making a granny square with that yarn. And I will be making different sized granny squares using a template from Michelle Yasik's video, where she came up with this whole thing of doing a square a day in December and then sewing it together to make like a little rectangle that you can then add to every year in December. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And so yeah, let's start off with picking my very first box. I'm very excited to see what I will get. I also have stuff everywhere because I have like my yarn here in case I need to grab any of the bigger ones. So the first cross stitch project, I'm very excited, is Santa's on His Way, which is from Charting Creations. And I have all my cross stitch projects over here, so I'll grab that in a second. But then I was also going to look at the yarn. So there is this yarn scrap here, which came off of this yarn in the bag. So I will be using this color, and then I will also be using this color here. And the granny square that I'm making, I looked it up. It is 6 rounds today. I also think I dropped a scrap. Hold on. I did. So then I also dropped this other pinky scrap, which I know exactly which yarn that is. It is this one. So I will be using these 3, and it's a 6 round granny square, which will work perfect because then I can alternate these 3 colors. So that's going to be great. I am excited to make this granny square. Very excited, and I'm also excited to work on Santa's on His Way. So let me find that real quick. I have this with all of my projects, so I need to go and dig through it and see if I can find where Santa's on His Way is real quick. I will say that some of the projects did not fit, so it's possible that I have a few extras over here because they didn't all fit. I have too many projects. But some of the projects are only in the Advent box once. So once I've worked on it once, then I can put that one away. This is not even Santa's on His Way. I thought it was, but it's not. What was this one I held up? This one is Santa's on His Way. So this one here's my starting point. And I also realized I left a needle minder on it, which I try not to do because sometimes projects are put away for a long time. I don't know where I'm going to work on this one. Last year I had been working over in this tree section, which was a ton of confetti, and a part of me wants to work instead around this area. And I think I talked before about if I wanted to do Santa this year, stitch where Santa is, but I think I'm going to save him up for later. So I might try and outline where Santa is and just see where that will be, but I'm not going to stitch actual Santa currently. This is on a 28 count, 2/1 half cross, and so I will be back tomorrow, and in my update tomorrow, all these videos are going to be put together, so for you it will just be in a minute you'll see what happened. But in my video that I filmed tomorrow, I will be showing you what I got done on Santa's on His Way. And I will also show you my granny square, and then I will be picking day 2 in my Advent box. And then I think the way that I'm going to do it for Autumn Harmony is I will just show you her at the beginning, so she was already showed. And then at the end, I will give an update on how many colors I managed to get finished and I will also update how many stitches are left, and that way you won't have to like see her every day. It'll just be at the end. You'll get like a bigger reveal. So that is all though for day 1, and I will be back with day 2 tomorrow. It is now day 2 of Flossmas, my advent calendar, whatever you want to call it. And so I am back to show you my cross-stitching progress and my granny squares that I made. And then I also already have changed my plans a little bit. So first I will show the cross-stitching. And I was working on Santa's on His Way, which is by Charting Creations. And I had mentioned working like around Santa, and I instead decided to work on the reindeer because the reindeer does not have a head. So I was like, I think I should do the reindeer's head finally. And this reindeer is like at an angle, so its head turns back a little bit. So the head for this reindeer is actually right here. So I'll try and insert like the artwork image so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, because I was telling like my kids about it. I was like, look, I'm stitching the reindeer's head, and I think they were expecting it to be more like here, and it's turned, so it looks like a really weird angle right now because I haven't done like this portion. So but yeah, that's what I was working on. I think it was 500 stitches. That was like my goal, is try and do 500 stitches on this. I also had done 500 stitches on Autumn Harmony, but I will show her at the end. So then I went to make my granny squares, and I ended up changing my plans. So originally I was going to be making different size granny squares to follow the template from Michelle Yasic, I don't know how to say her last name, from her videos. And I instead decided to just make 5 round granny squares, and then that way they will be the same size as the granny squares that I have been making in the last few years for like a scrap blanket or something. So these can just go in my pile of granny squares for that blanket. And the whole thing is I just wasn't sure about putting them together, because obviously if you have different sizes and it was all laid out, but what if it ends up being like a weird size and then you have to keep making them? And what if there's not a way to just make like a nice normal size blanket? I don't know. I was overthinking it, because you know how when you're like crocheting and I wasn't listening to anything, I was just had nothing externally like going into my head, so all I could do was just think and think and think. And so I was just overthinking the whole like putting them together, and if they don't line up because I do something wrong, and you know, down the line trying to make more of these rectangles that will match up to this one. I don't know, I was overthinking. So 5 round granny squares, because that's what I was previously doing. And the colors I had were like this like lighter like pinky peachy color, this bluey greeny, and then this other like kind of pinky orangey color. I don't know how you'd want to call it. So I did one square where I was alternating the colors on the rounds. I was trying to use up, because I decided that if I have a ball of a color that is in here, it usually means that that like color, that's like the last of the color. So I was like, I want to finish up the ball of this bluey greeny color, so I made another square using that one, and I was able to get almost all of the rounds done in this color, but the very last one I had to change colors, and then there was just enough for me to make round 1 of another square. So I used all of that yarn, because that was my goal, is try and use as much of the scraps as I possibly can. So I got another little round done, so I can use this today for something, or like another day I can, you know, use that round. So it is now time to see what I'll be working on today. Today is day 2, so we will pick out the box. And let's see, I can already see the yarn on top. So there is, whoa, I just dropped a scrap. Okay, there is this one, which looks like the color I was using yesterday, which is this one, and then this. So those colors will go together very nicely. There is no other yarn, so it's just the 2, which means I could also throw in this round, and then, you know, I'll have a third color. And then the project for today for cross stitch is Tarot Town 2, which is, it's not focused, artwork by Ciro Marchetti and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So I will pull that one out and we can see my starting point. And here is the starting point on Tarot Town 2. So I have been working this one in the center, so I don't know exactly which area I'll continue working on today, but I do want to try and do like another 500-ish stitches on this. And this one is on a 28 count 2/1 half cross, and yeah, I just cannot wait to see what I can get done on this. I do love this project and I would like to see it get farther along. So I will be back tomorrow with day 3. Welcome to day 3 of my advent calendar, December 3rd, and I am here to show you my progress on Tarot Town 2 and then also pick out which project I'll be working on today. So Tarot Town 2, I think I did about 500-ish stitches, and I was stitching in this area here. I was really just trying to fill in areas that were blank because like I have a lot of like missed stitches throughout here, and so I was just trying to fill in the area. So it was like this area here is like fully complete now, and then I also did like a teeny bit of the green because I do want to eventually get the green filled in so that this isn't just like a floating building, but it actually has like a ground to it. So that is my progress on Tarot Town 2. And then the granny squares that I made yesterday, where are they? So yesterday I ended up making 2 granny squares. So I made one where I used the center from day 1, that was the leftover yarn, and then I was alternating, no, I was just using like the multicolored yarn that was in the ball. And then I made a second square where I was just trying to use up the rest of this multicolor yarn, and then on the last rounds I used that like peachy color yarn. So I have 2 more squares, and I even wove in the ends. We were playing a board game last night, me and my family, and so I was just weaving in ends when it wasn't my turn, which it worked out very well, especially because my day 1 squares, I did not weave in the ends yet, so I need to really get that done. I will say too that the squares together are going together color-wise so nicely. Look at that. So that was fun, and I have now used up 2 balls of yarn because I used up the little ball from day 1 and then the little ball from day 2. So I am happy with that. And now we will go to my calendar here, and we are on day 3. So let's see what I will be working on for today. Oh, okay, today's project is a favorite of mine, Cozy Winter Book Nook, which is artwork by Rose Kahn and charted by Pain Free Crafts. I will grab that one in 1 second. First, I need to see what my yarn is. So for my yarn today, I just have 1 color. So it's this ball here, which I think on days if I just get 1 color, I might use like a previous day color. So day 1 I had picked this color, so I might use these 2 together so I can make a couple of squares and do like, you know, alternating colors on the rounds. So I have this ball for day 3, and now I need to find Cozy Winter Book Nook in my big pile of projects. I was also going to mention, I think Tarot Town 2 is only in the box 1 time, and so that means I can officially put it away now that I have worked on it once, and so it can go back on my shelf and not be in my big project, the thing that I have here. I have all my projects in the bin, so Tarot Town can be put away. Actually, hold on. Okay. I wrote down how often everything was in there. I made a list of all the projects as I was writing them down. So the first day was Santa's on His Way. Santa's on His Way is in there 3 times, so I cannot put that one back on the shelf yet. And then Tarot Town 2 was in there once. So Tarot Town 2 will be put away now. It's done for Flossmas or Advent, whatever we're calling this. And here is Cozy Winter Book Nook, and this one I put in there 3 times, I think, so it will be picked a couple more times. Here is Cozy Winter Book Nook. I'm just showing this area because this is the area I want to work in. I really want to work on filling in some of the window here because it has like a snowy scene that's outside. And so I really wanted to work on like this little snowy area in December. So I'll be working on this today. This is on 25 count, 2 over 1 half cross, and I'm so excited. Also, my progress on Autumn Harmony is going well. I actually think that tomorrow, which will be day 4, that will be my last, I think, clip for this video, and then I'll put it up, and then you'll be able to see Autumn Harmony tomorrow. So yeah, I'm getting really excited with Autumn Harmony because it's getting so close to the end. But I will be back tomorrow for day 4. It is now December 4th and I am back with my final update for this video. So I will be showing you my progress on Cozy Winter Book Nook. I will show you my progress on Autumn Harmony, and then I will also show my granny squares. So first, Cozy Winter Book Nook. And this one is fun. The colors are fun, but there's also a lot of color changes in the top of the window, which is where I was working on. So I was working in this window area. Some of the darker colors go around the edge and also make like the little lines that are in the window. So I got, I think, 500 stitches done on this while I was watching Elf, which I love Elf. Great Christmas movie. I also watched a new Christmas movie that was on Netflix, I think, and it has Alicia Silverstone. And that one, I thought it was funny. I don't know if anyone else thought it was funny, but I enjoyed it. It was a good time. So that is my progress from Cozy Winter Book Nook. And then Autumn Harmony, I will first go over the numbers. I wrote them all down. So Autumn Harmony, on December 1st, I had 48 colors complete. I now currently have 53 colors complete. And I am working on one more color that it had like 700 stitches left on it, and it now only has like 73, so I think I'm going to finish that color today. And I went from having 8,200 stitches left to having 6,500 stitches left. So here is Autumn Harmony right now. I was really focusing in this area for a while, just trying to fill in this section. So this section is really close to being finished. There's just a few little stitches that are scattered about. And then I was working on the color 3371, which is a really dark brown, and that is almost finished. So it was mostly like throughout here, and now I just need to do a little bit more in here, and then that color will be finished. And yeah, it's getting so close, and there's a part of me that's like, just work on it way more and then try and get it done as fast as possible. But I also don't want to burn myself out. So I am trying to pace myself and just stick to doing 500 stitches a day and just taking it slow. So that's what's going on with Autumn Harmony, but I am really looking forward to having her finished before the end of the year. Because I also keep reminding myself, like, yes, I could rush and try and get her done as fast as possible, which I would probably be sick of her if I did that because I would just get so tired of, like, you know, the struggle. But I also keep reminding myself that I have until the end of the year, which was my original plan, is just get her done before the end of the year. And so I don't have to really rush. I have the time to, you know, work on her even if it goes after Christmas, which I really don't want it to go on until after Christmas, but I technically could. I have the time. So then the next thing I will show is my granny squares. I had picked that one ball of dark blue, and I made one granny square that's just all that one color because I thought this color was really fun because it has like this like yellowy greeny color going through it too. And then I was just trying to use up as much as possible, so then I also started another blue one and then added on some of the like pinky color, whatever we want to call this. It's like a shade of pink leaning towards red. And then there was just enough yarn to make one more blue center. So I have another center started, and that literally took up all the yarn. This was the tail that I had left when I did that, and so I was like, that was cutting it really close for making another center, but I did it. So I also weaved in ends. So while I was watching Christmas movies, I did my cross stitch, but then I also made sure that I weaved in ends on my squares, and I weaved in the ends on my day one squares. So far I am on track of keeping my ends woven in, because if you let them like pile up, all of a sudden you have a bajillion ends to weave in and it gets overwhelming. So that is all though for this video. I'm going to end it here, and then my next video will start with me picking my projects for today, which is day 4. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe and come back for my next video. Thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I hope everyone is having a good December wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!